Hey everyone, welcome to day 4. Today you're going to need a block or a book. If you don't have a yoga block, a book or anything similar to the shape would be fine. We're going to focus on opening the hips. Have something that has about maybe like 5 or 6 inches width, or 4 to 6 inches width that you can sit on. We're going to work on really getting some flexibility in our hips, which is good for all of us, guys and girls. We tend to hold a lot of tension in our hips, so these exercises are really going to help with that. So come to a seated position on your block. Cross your legs in front of you. The elevated position on the block helps you open those hips a bit more in the seated position instead of sitting on the floor. Once you're comfortable, placing your hands on your knees, bringing your navel to your spine, chest up. Your chin is slightly down, so your gaze would be down towards the floor in front of you, gently closing the eyes. You can also make touching your fingertips to each other, your thumb and your finger, positioning it as you see here in my video, and just drawing attention to your breath, making sure you're not slouching, your back is straight, core is engaged, lifting through the crown of your head, shoulders relaxed, taking a deep inhale and exhale. Coming to stillness. Not thinking about anything that you have to do later today, anything that happened before this. Just really focusing on the present moment, being present, and giving yourself the time to be completely still. If your mind starts to stray, just focus in on your breath, just the inhales and the exhales, visualizing the oxygen moving through your body. Inhale and exhale, staying here for a few more seconds. Gently opening the eyes, removing the block from under you. We're going to sit, extending our legs out in front of us, putting the block in front of your feet. Your feet are engaged, so you're pushing through your heels, your toes are facing upwards, imagining the block as if it were a wall. You can turn it either way that suits you best. Inhaling, making sure your back is straight, your core. The goal here is to bring your stomach to your thighs. So most times in this stretch, we try to bring our head down like this. That's not the goal. We're trying to bring our stomach to our thighs and looking forward, keeping our chest open, our back straight, and going as far as you can. Reach to your ankles, your shin. If you can reach past the block for a nice deep stretch, go for it. This is something you work towards. We don't want to push and injure ourselves. So start just holding your shins if that's where you are. And then after you hold that for a few seconds, you can take a deep inhale and exhale, go a little bit further, maybe to your ankles. And if you're there and you want to go a little bit deeper, just make sure you don't bend the knees, they remain straight. should feel a nice stretch here. Remember, the goal is to get your stomach to your thighs. So inhale and then exhale, go a little bit deeper. Holding here for a few breaths. Coming up, we're gonna sit with our extender legs. So bringing your feet together, pulling your knees to your chest. We're gonna hug our knees, bringing our forehead down to our knees, and just holding here, giving yourself a hug for a few breaths. This gives you a nice stretch in your spine, your back. Your back is connected to your hips, so this is also going to help with your hip flexibility as well. Everything's all connected. So just hugging your knees in. And then inhaling, looking up. We're going to butterfly our legs. So the inner arches of your feet should touch each other. Your knees going out to the side. It's okay if you're only right here. You know, just means your hips are a bit tight. This is why we're doing these exercises. You use your elbows to push your knees down, making sure your chest is open, straight. Your back is straight, looking forward. And then grabbing the feet, using your elbows, just push down on your knees as far as you feel comfortable. Should feel a nice stretch on the inner thighs. Remembering to breathe. Remember, it's okay if your knees are a little bit higher than mine are. It's something you're going to work towards and progress with this stretch. So on the inhale and then exhale, push a little bit deeper into the stretch. Focusing on your breath, remembering to breathe. Do not hold your breath. Inhale and exhale. This is a nice gentle flow today, so just take your time. A little bit of restorative yoga after the last 3 days. Inhale and exhale. Try to go a little bit deeper into the stretch. And then inhale, coming up, bringing your knees together. Taking a nice big breath in and out. We're going to extend our left leg out, bringing our right foot towards the center of our body. Activating that left foot so your toes are pointing up, not pointed away from you. Activating your core, making sure that you're pulling your belly button towards your spine. Reaching the left arm to the right knee. Your right arm goes above your head. And the goal here is to get your right hand as close to your left foot as close as possible. If you can grab it, great. Do not push yourself too hard, too fast. It's a gradual thing, stretching, moving with the breath. So inhaling and then exhale, you try to go a little bit deeper into that stretch, as far as you can go. And we're going to come up and do the same on the other side. So placing your right hand to the left knee, bringing the left arm overhead, activating the right foot. Stretching over as far as you can. If you can touch your feet, great. If not, it's fine. You're not wanting to bring your body forward, so your chest should not be facing the floor. You should be going to the side, and you feel a nice stretch on that side, on your side. And then inhaling, coming up. We're going to do our bridge pose, but assisted with the block. So placing the block underneath you. It can be the bigger side, wider side down, or the narrower side down, depending how much height you want to get. Do not place it below your butt. It's gonna go right at the where your lower back is. So just above your butt, on your lower back, giving you some nice support. And sitting here in your bridge pose, so your hips are lifted up. Similar to the bridge pose we do in our regular practice we've done in the last 3 days, but instead of pushing your hips up, you're using the block to assist you. Remembering to breathe here. Taking your time. And focus on how your breath moves as you move in these different poses. And focus on how your body feels. Listening to our body by the way that we feel. Inhaling, removing the block and coming up to a standing position. You can just place the block to the side. We won't need it for right now. Standing at the top of your mat, inhaling your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, look up halfway, straight back. Exhale, fold forward and stepping back into your plank position. Lowering down chaturanga or knees, chin and chest into your cobra or upward facing dog. Now let yourself warm up here. You don't need to push too hard yet. You are warming up into your downward facing dog, pedaling your knees, taking your time with your breath. Just warming up the muscles. Getting into your body, feeling like how this all makes you feel. Nice stretch in your hamstrings, coming up to your tippy toes if you'd like. Just do a few movements to make you feel stretched and comfortable. And then pushing into a full downward facing dog. Come to stillness. Lowering down into your child's pose, sitting back on the heels. Extending the arms in front of you, forehead to your mat. Taking a few breaths here. Pushing back up into your downward facing dog. Inhaling, your right leg goes up, pushing through the heel. Pivoting and opening that right hip, bending the right knee back. A nice hip opener here. Remember to breathe. And then straightening the leg, lowering that down. We're going to inhale, our left leg goes up now, pushing through the left heel. Pivoting and opening the hip, bending that left knee back. And then exhaling, letting that left leg come down to the mat in your downward facing dog. Looking forward, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arms above the head. And then exhale, you're in your mountain pose, shoulders, hips, heels aligned. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway, straight back. Exhale, jump or step to plank position, lowering down into your chaturanga or knees, chin and chest. Upward facing dog, pulling those shoulders back. And then exhaling into your downward facing dog. Here for a couple breaths, inhaling your right leg up. And then bringing that right knee to your right palm on your mat. We're going to go into pigeon pose. This is one of my favorite poses for hips. So your right leg, you want to try to bring it as parallel to your body as you can without sacrificing your hips. Your hips need to be square, level. You can use the block if you find there's a big gap and it's not comfortable for you to be up like that. Use the block for some support, but make sure that your right and left hip are at the same level, whether you're all the way down on your mat or you're using your block. And then gently folding forward onto your elbows. That should be a really nice stretch in your hips. You should feel that. If you have the flexibility and you don't need the block, just make sure that your hips are aligned. It's okay to use the block. There's no judgment. It just means that you're a bit tight and you work towards getting those hips aligned. And then you can fold and surrender totally to the pose. Whether you're on your elbows or folded all the way over, you should feel a really nice stretch in the hips. This pose is all about surrendering, acknowledging the stretch, letting go of things that don't serve us. We hold a lot of emotions in our hips, in that region, and this stretch, if you hold it for a bit, you may even feel some of those emotions surfacing. Just let it go. Fully surrender, leave it all on your mat. Anything that no longer serves you, just release it. We're going to stay here for almost a full minute. It's a very effective pose. Remember to breathe into the stretch. And then when you're ready, slowly using your hands to assist you, coming back up. Keeping your chest open, shoulders back and relaxed. You can bend the left knee. You can try this if it's comfortable. If you feel any discomfort in your knee, please don't do it. If you can grab your foot, go for it. And that's just a little bit of an extra stretch for the quads. And then we're going to swing that left leg around in front of us, bringing the right foot a few inches away from our inner left thigh. Right knee is bent. Inhaling, our right arm up. Left hand goes back onto the mat behind us. Wrapping that right arm around your right knee and trying to grab the left hand behind you in a bind. Inhale and then exhale, fold forward gently. Keeping the left foot activated, toes up to the sky. Breathe into the stretch. And then exhale, let go, shake out the legs. Cross the legs and shoot back into your plank position, chaturanga or knees, chin and chest, lowering down to your mat. Upward facing dog or cobra. Pulling the shoulders back and then pushing back into downward facing dog. We're going to do the other side. So inhale, left leg goes up. Bringing that left knee on the mat next to your left palm. Trying to get that leg, your calf as parallel to your body as you can without sacrificing your knee or your position of your hips. Using the block for extra assistance if needed. If you can get your hips down all the way to the mat, do so. Just make sure they're at an even level, your right and left hip. Inhale and then exhale, fold forward to your knees. Or inhale your arms all the way up. Fold forward to your elbows. Inhale your arms all the way up and then fold forward with arms stretched out in front of you in full surrender. You may notice that one side was easier than the other side. It just means one side, your hips are tighter than the other. And these exercises will help you with that flexibility. Just remember to always be gentle to your body, be kind to your body. Yoga is not about showing off or how low you can go or how many headstands you can do. It's about your practice. Treating your body right and your mind right. So go at your own pace. Don't try to be like anybody else. You know your body best. So take your time, move with your breath, and you'll see the progress happening every day if you keep at your practice. Surrendering and releasing any emotions, anything that doesn't serve us. We're going to leave it all on our mat and walk away light and free with nothing but love to spread. Inhale and exhale. Remember, if any thoughts arise, you just acknowledge it and you just let it go, focusing on your breath. And then slowly using your hands to assist you coming back up. You can go, if you did it on the other side, try this side as well. You're reaching for your right foot behind you, bending the knee. You can try to lock your toes into your elbow, the crease of your elbow. If that's available, it's something that you can work towards, just locking your foot into your arm and trying to go slowly as far as you can. Swinging that right leg around, bringing the left knee bent, left foot a few inches away from your inner right thigh. Inhaling the left arm up and exhaling, wrapping that around your left knee. Reaching for your right arm behind you, trying to grab your right wrist, fingertips, whatever you can. You can also use a towel. If you cannot touch your fingertips, it's fine. Use a towel and grab one hand on either end, and that will help you get into the stretch a little bit deeper. And then exhale, folding forward. Release, shaking out your legs. And then crossing the legs. Stepping back into your plank position. Lowering down into your chaturanga, upward facing dog. pushing back into your downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. Take a child's pose if you'd like. Meeting in downward facing dog, we're going to inhale our right leg up, stepping forward into our warrior one. Remembering our warrior one pose from the last 3 days. Your right knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Left foot is planted in the back. Pivoting to your warrior two, hands are extended, and then reversing your warrior. Left hand goes back to left foot, left leg. Right hand goes overhead. And then exhale into your extended side angle. Right elbow goes to right knee. Left arm goes overhead. Breathe. You can option to bring the right arm down to your mat. Option to go for the bind only if your chest remains open. Do not pivot your chest towards the floor if you're trying to go for the bind. Now turning into a high lunge pose, we're going to lower that left knee down to our mat. Coming down onto our elbows if that's available. Option to raise that knee again for a deeper stretch. Doing our lizard pose here. Holding for a few breaths. And then lowering that knee if it's not already lowered. Pushing back up onto your hands. Bringing our right foot to the center. Inhaling our arms up overhead and giving yourself a little arch in your back, opening the heart to the sky. And exhaling, folding forward, hands to your mat. Stepping back into your plank position, chaturanga. Back in downward facing dog, inhaling, left leg goes up, stepping forward, coming up into your warrior one. Pivoting into warrior two. Reversing your warrior. Nice stretch on that left side. And then extended side angle, left elbow goes to left knee. Right arm goes overhead, stretching all the way through to your fingertips. Option to drop the left hand to the mat. Remembering that your chest remains up, don't face your chest to the mat. Option to go for the bind. You can use the towel, as I said, if you're trying to work on your binds but can't quite get there yet. Use a towel or a strap. Pivoting into high lunge, moving that left foot towards the left side of the mat. Lowering the right knee down. Coming to elbows if that's available to you. Lifting the right knee if that's available to you. For your lizard pose. Breathing into it. Dropping that right knee down to your mat. Bringing the left foot towards the center of your mat, in between the hands. Inhaling your arms all the way up. Slight arch back in your back, but still activating your core, pulling your belly button to your spine. Opening the heart. And then releasing. Sitting back into a child's pose. Taking a nice break here. Take a few breaths. Coming back up into our downward facing dog. Pedaling the knees if you need. Inhaling your right leg up. Exhale, right. Inhaling left leg up. Exhaling, releasing that down to the mat. Taking a few breaths in our downward facing dog. And then step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, look up halfway, straight back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. We're going to move into our balancing poses, starting with tree pose. So remembering that your foot never goes on your knee, always on your inner thigh or inner calf, never on the knee. So bringing the right foot into your left inner thigh or calf. Hands at heart center. Rooting strong in our left foot. Extending our arms like the branches of a tree if you'd like. If not, keeping your hands at heart center is fine. Focusing on one point in front of you, your dristi. Now lifting that right knee up at hip level, grabbing the toe if you can, extending the leg in front of you. Then releasing the toe and holding the leg up, really activating that quad muscle. Release, shake it out, doing the same on the other side. Left foot comes to inner thigh or inner calf. Hands at heart center, focusing on one point in front of you. Extending the arms like the branches of a tree, rooting firmly in our grounded right foot. Now lifting that left knee in front of us at hip level. You can stay here or you can grab the toe, extending that left leg at hip level, and then releasing the toe, keeping the leg up, using and activating your quad muscles to hold that leg up. And exhale, releasing your foot to the mat. Widening our stance.